Hey, what's going on guys, StarGuy34 back with another video, and in today's video we're going to see what if the Spanish Empire returned in 2023. If you're going to enjoy this video, please like, share and subscribe, and let's dive right into it. Now the borders here aren't exact, the only exact borders are in South America, but I try my best with these ones up here in the USA, but this is just the best I can do. This is just the height of their power, really, their territorial peak. Like, they had land in, like, Italy and the Netherlands, Portugal, Morocco. But this is at them at the territorial height. So let's just dive in. So starting over here in America, Spain's going to go on like a cleanup crew of the Caribbean and the north of South America. And immediately we have them declaring war on every single Caribbean nation in the archipelago. And with this they begin their island hopping campaign in the entirety of the Caribbean. They immediately capture Haiti, land on all of Jamaica, capture the Bahamas, capture Jamaica for real, move down these Caribbean islands, quickly reaching Trinidad and Tobago, quickly capturing that as well. And bing bang boom, they've already conquered the Mediterranean. Not the Mediterranean, the Caribbean. Time to look at this peace treaty. And look at the peace treaty, the entire Caribbean is under control of Spain. And so now they move on to these three countries right here. However, French Guinea is under French control, so that might prove difficult for France if they do end up invading. So they go ahead and declare war on Guyana and Suriname. Immediately Spanish troops begin to move into these two countries, quickly capturing the north of the country. However, we also see Brazil joining this war, as their hold on South America has greatly diminished. All South America is under Spanish control except for these three countries and Brazil. So in order to try to gain a hold of more land and secure their independence, Brazil enters into the two countries from the south, which, despite the language difference, they automatically they just let them because they don't want to be under Spanish rule, and they'd rather be under Brazil rule because at least Brazil's their neighbor, like actual neighbor, not like across the sea neighbor. So as Brazil moves in from the south, Spain continues from the north, quickly cutting off Guyana and they continue this trope by invading the north of Suriname, quickly capturing all of the north and making their way down south. And with this, the two fairly weak countries surrendered to both the Spanish and the Brazilians, and they decide to split these countries exactly how they are on this map. And so now with the north of these two countries under their control, Spain begins to eye up French Guiana. And of course, France really is not a fan of this, as it's France versus all of this, and I guess the Philippines. But so France decides to lead a coalition against Spain in order to stop them from taking their last major colony in the world. Like, they have French department then. So France decides to make an alliance with both Italy, Portugal, and yeah, that's pretty much anyone who wants to join this. However, Portugal is a very interesting decision as they want protection. However, the UK definitely is not going to grant that to them. So now Spain has opponents in Europe, and that is not good for Spain because honestly, Spain would get absolutely destroyed in Europe, let's be honest. They're surrounded on all sides, so they decide to instead try to basically, they're going to try to stabilize their region by expanding their holds over here, basically giving them another front if war does break out. It's like if they lose Spain, they can retreat to Morocco if necessary. Speaking of Morocco, well, that's typical, isn't it? Immediately as Spain declares war on Morocco, Spanish troops immediately enter into the north of the country, quickly capturing all of the north. Immediately Spanish troops enter into the north of the country as they quickly make their way down south along the coast of Morocco. However, Morocco does make some pushback in the north, quickly capturing all of their eastern territory and slowly pushing back Spanish troops. With this, Morocco continues to lose their coastline as they begin to be pushed back by Spanish troops. As pretty much all their important lands are nearly captured, they've only got these islands, this place down here and this place up here. So it's pretty much over for them, as they lose all of their southern coastline as well as their northern coastline. And with that, the Spanish close in on the remaining Morocco territory until the Moroccans basically give up, seeing no point in fighting in this war. And Spain is going all out in this video. They're not going to hold back. If you look at the Spanish Empire, they're pretty much uniting the world in a way. Like this is the closest America has actually been to fully unified, you know? I know like we've got like Africa or Asia, but there's not really been a period in history where all of a continent is united. I guess you got the German Reich during World War II, and you got the Mongol Empire down here in Asia, but they didn't really go to the Indonesians, stuff like that, or India. So yeah, Spain down here is the closest I would say South America has ever been united. And so now Spain eyes up on French Guiana once more, and it's sort of like an itch to them. Like obviously they don't want to go up against Brazil, as they don't want to invade the Amazon and they don't want to invade down here. They have no interest in taking Brazil as it's a Portuguese colony. It's too big. It's not Spanish speaking, you know. So they eye up French Guiana, who is already part of the alliance, and they basically line up troops along the border after moving them from Morocco up here. Now that France sees this, they immediately send troops down here to French Guiana in order to defend their last territory over here in South America. However, this was a trick. Spain over here knew that France would send a majority of their troops over here, and this is only a small part of the Spanish army, and so without any acknowledgement, Spain declares war on France, and with all military might blitz through the southern part of the country, quickly capturing all of the south. And this was unexpected from France, as they expected an invasion from down here. So now they immediately activate the resistance against Spain. I'm sorry, I accidentally messed this up earlier. And yeah, with this, Spain does have a slight advantage, as they immediately put troops into Portugal, quickly taking over the north of the country, as well as pushing into the south. However, they didn't really have a grasp on Italy, as they didn't really put their navy over here. So Italy is beginning to ramp up its troops and to invade into Spain. As there are a lot of French troops down here, they enter into the territory, making quick gains, but that's pretty much it. The military over here is, it's that versus this, so it's not fair at all. However, you may be thinking, France is stronger than Spain. Well, Spain's obviously the powerhouse of this video, but it's France and Italy over here, so they're bound to push them back. Which they do. They do slightly. However, Spain over here has made some secret treaties. Yes, secret treaties. Which inevitably brings Germany into the war against France. As well as this, Algeria joins the war. And last, but certainly not least, Great Britain. That's right. France had the Uno reverse card pulled on them, as they are pretty much screwed in this scenario. With this, a mass push into France begins from Germany as they quickly take over Alsace-Lorraine and pretty much all of this region of France. You also see a few British invasions in the north of France. France really is the main factor in most of these videos. So now the south of Portugal falls and most of the country pretty much has to give up to Spain. However, a small resistance is over here in the west, around about where Lisbon is. However, with Algeria joining the war, we see a small landing on Sardinia as they quickly move north to capture the entire island, and island hopping right on to Corsica and capturing the island in itself. And now Italy is very worried. At last, the Americas pull their head out of the sand as they push back French Guiana, quickly taking the remainder of their territory and even entering into French Guiana itself, capturing the north and basically saying goodbye to the Department of France. And so now mass troops over here in the west move over to Europe to deal. After a few more weeks of fighting, Portugal surrenders. And the British front begins to expand upon itself as Brittany falls and the north of France is captured. With this, Algeria makes a landing on Italy, making one in the north and one on the western coast of Spain of Italy. And now Italy does what Italy always does in these scenarios and switches sides as they join the side of Spain. And now they are willing to cooperate with any peace treaties that they have to deal with. However, that's for later on in the video. Immediately, Italian troops begin their invasion of France. It's almost like they planned this. I don't know why. It's almost like they planned to invade France. And now France is coming into all corners, and to put the nail in the coffin, Belgium joins the war. Yeah. Now, this really isn't a good day for France, as the north is captured and Paris surrenders, as all four combatants move in to capture the rest of France, and after a few more weeks of fighting, the French government just goes ahead and gives up. And so, with that, Spain has taken out its main rival, and now it's time to look at this peace treaty. Now, looking at this peace treaty, yeah, France has been destroyed. Now, I'm going to quickly break down. Starting with Italy over here, Spain takes back the Naples and Sicily, as it once actually was under control of France. I believe it was the Habsburgs that controlled it, basically before they controlled places like Morocco, Equatorial Guinea and the Philippines, I think. Basically when they were the dominant power in Europe. And they also take Corsica and the whole southern coast of France. Now, why didn't Sardinia go to Spain? Well, Algeria wanted something from the war. They didn't just join it for nothing. So they just go ahead and take Sardinia, you know, just because. And Italy does gain a bit of land from France as a sort of thank you for joining the war against them. We see Great Britain annex all of northern France, and we see Belgium gain lands off France, as well as Germany taking a bit more than just Alsace-Lorraine. As well as Spain also annexed French Guinea. And that is all of Spanish possessions expanding over here in Europe, except from a few, which we have to come over down here to Gibraltar, which Spain wants. So, but they don't want to go with a war against Britain, as Britain's their ally, you know. Why would they want to go against Britain? So they basically say, give us Gibraltar and you can have an island or a city or something that you want elsewhere. And Britain knows that they can't win a war against France. Britain knows that they can't win a war against Spain, so they agree to it and they go ahead and choose an island because everyone knows Britain loves their islands. However, they did well, Spain did take a bunch of islands over here that Britain owned, but it's not shown on the map, so I don't care. So Britain goes ahead and wants their old colony over here in Jamaica, which the Spanish agree to, as they really don't have much use for Jamaica over here. So Jamaica formally comes under control of the British. And so now Spain has one more goal over here in Europe, as they want to restore their old claims. They don't want to go to war against Germany, so the Netherlands will do fine. And I'm not going to waste your time with help from Britain. They land in the north, quickly capturing the entire north, and yeah, big bloody boop. And full annexation. You can tell I'm tired. And yeah, that's pretty much all they want in Europe. That's pretty much all they want. Yeah. So now where do they go, really? I don't think they want to go against Brazil. They don't really have any interest in Africa, apart from maybe Western Sahara. Well, strangely, I don't know what happened to it. I think it... Well, that problem sorted out, isn't it? So, yeah, they don't want anything over here in Asia. They could expand into Indochina, but what's the point? They could take Taiwan, but what's the point? They could go after Indonesia, but what's the point? So they go ahead and look back to America, where there's one more weakened country from this. That's right, they declare war on the good old US of A. Could Spain do this in real life? Absolutely not, but this is a fictional scenario, so we're gonna do this fictionally. Immediately, Spanish troops from Florida go up and take much of the coastline, moving towards Washington, D.C. We also see a front going here from California as they move over towards the state of D.C. and Vancouver Island. However, even though the US isn't nearly as powerful as it is in real life, as they lost Texas and California, they still can pack a punch, and honestly they could probably take on Spain, which they do. They immediately enter into Florida. I can't remember. I'm sorry, my states are trash. I'm not from the States, so I don't really know many. I know a good majority of states, over here in the West, but I'm terrible, so I am sorry. So the US attempts to capture the eastern colony of Florida, as they don't want to go over here. They'd have to go all the way over here to conquer it. So cut off supply lanes to these guys right here, and you're golden. However, they do lose their eastern coast pretty much as they continuously move north. And yeah, while they do have some success in the west, their supply chain is pretty much cut off from Florida as the US recaptures their old territory of Florida, and later the rest of the colony falls. As well as this, they even re-enter the USA, quickly pushing back any troops they find until they move in, and until all that remains is this little portion right here that probably holds around 20,000 troops, so it's a good margin. However, due to this, they do lose their eastern coastline, quickly falling to the Spanish invasion. And so now what? Spain immediately begins to send troops over to the US in order to kind of take back Florida, which is their main priority. So you're supposed to... However, it clicked in Spain's head that they have all South America under their control, as well as all Central America. So, what are they doing? Why are they just using troops from Spain and not using the ones from the Caribbean? So they make a landing in Florida, quickly pushing up until the entire peninsula is captured, and they are kind of stalemated with the US over here. And yeah, so now it's a stalemate. However, an ambitious force of around 1 million men over here begin to advance into the country in order to try to spearhead to this lake over here. I don't know what it's called. And basically cut the more populous half of America off from over here to try to subdue this area. And this is going very successfully until they actually meet American troops, and they're only a few hundred miles away when they are eventually stopped and have to retreat from their goal as the US begins to push them back. However, more landings are made and the entirety of the US force are pushed out of Florida as the offensive is reignited, and the troops in America have lost all progress in this war. And now the US is basically on its heels right now, as the north falls and Spanish troops over here basically just stay put. They want to capture all the valuable areas of land first, and then if necessary go into all of this. So after much fighting, the Spanish push through and eventually spearhead towards this lake, and they eventually cut America in two. This leads to this place basically not falling to them, but being uninterested. Spain's uninterested in this area for now. They're more interested in the coast and the 13 colonies. So once they've done that, they begin to make their very good push into the country, eventually capturing Washington DC. Now obviously the US will not fall that quickly, but this is a fictional scenario and I don't care, so they begin to make another spearhead towards this lake right here, and another spearhead towards this lake right here. Both spearheads are successful, officially cutting off these two parts of the US, which are probably some of the most valuable parts that are still under the US's control, with both of these parts quickly surrendering, leading to the swift fall of Central America. This part of Central America, you've also got this part of Central America, this is Central America, this is Central America. It's very confusing. So yeah, with the swift fall of the middle of the captured territory, the US basically has no morale, so they go ahead and surrender to the Spanish, willing to meet any demands that they have. And for the first time, probably the first time in, I forgot to include Alaska. Alaska's gains its independence from the US in this, so it's Hawaii. Congratulations. Wait. There you go. You're now Spanish. So time to look at this peace treaty. They are going all out. They are not messing around. This is the Spanish Empire of the West. This is the Spanish Empire that lasted for 2 centuries. It was the dominant power in Europe, you know, so yeah. They completely annexed the US, and now lots of people are very mad at Spain, including Great Britain, India, Japan, South Korea, Australia, New Zealand. But they don't care. They are the strongest country in the world. Maybe Russia's stronger, or China, or India, or the UK. No. But Spain is the most powerful country in the world. And now they have pretty much complete control of the Americas. So they send demands to Canada and Brazil. Basically join us or sink into the ocean. And while Canada does join them, surprisingly, as does Alaska, Brazil says no, and our book of and they sink into they don't surrender. They sink into the ocean just as Spain said they would. And just like that, Brazil is no more. And so they have done it. They have united all of the Americas under one banner. And this is the story of the Spanish Empire. The empire that which the sun would never set. Guys, thank you so much for watching this video. If you want more content like this, just drop a like, leave, and also subscribe. I would really appreciate it. Trying to get to 10 subscribers by the end of September. And that's all. So, bye bye.